This is not the normal Stardew Valley you know. This is Stardew Valley with a new farm, 58 new locations, 278 more character events, and much, much more. Yes, in this video, I will be playing 300 Days of Stardew Valley Expanded. Just the base mod, no extras, because I already don't know what I'm getting myself into. What I do know, however, is that I want to reach perfection, making all the crafting recipes, getting all the star drops, and more. But for the first set of 100 days, I have to lower my expectations. Of course, I want to complete the community center, max my skills, 3 hearts with every character I can, even marrying somebody new, and catch all the legendary fish. Now, with the bases covered, let's begin the series. For this playthrough, instead of a sweets theme like I did last 100 days, we're going with sodas. And what is the best soda, you may ask? Dr. Pepper! Easily Dr. Pepper! It's what I wanted to put for my favorite thing, but I'll give that to y'all. But only if you subscribe. I made my character as per usual, and since Expanded has a new farm, Grandpa's farm, we'll be using that one. So after checking that I can guarantee 1 year completion, we finally got into the game. Off the bat, I noticed the pathway isn't a pathway, and it immediately just puts you next to the bus stop, which kind of bothered me, but it's a pretty interesting idea to have 2 entrances. While the shops were opening up, I cleared some space on my farm, and immediately tried to meet as many people as possible. Like Dusty, who is totally a people, that I can now give pets. How sweet. This is how I meet our first new character, Olivia, who lives in a mansion above Alex's house, and immediately I had to see if I could date her. What? Hey, Olivia. I know she's supposed to be older, but like... And that is how I found out about this. What? What do you mean the wizard's single? Hello? Oh, Olivia, I'm so sorry. It is just... Spot got taken. I went and introduced myself to her son, Victor, before getting more people at the top right of the map. Going into Cindersnap Forest was definitely where a lot of the changes were, like the Fairhaven farm run by Andy, a Jojaholic and alcoholic, and to the right is the Blue Moon Vineyard. I actually really liked the idea of a vineyard in Stardew Valley, so I thought Sophia was pretty cool. She did not, in fact, think the same thing about me. At the end of the day, I literally talked to 28 out of 32 and planted the parsnips I got from Piers. One thing I will be making sure I do every day is checking my fortune and to see if the Queen of Sauce is on. Along with that, automatically watering all my crops. Can't really go on without doing that one, so. Day 2 is when you meet Willie, so I instantly went down to see him at the dock, not only completing one of my gifting quests, but finding some new items in the water. Today was really all about fishing, since I want to catch the legend, which is one of the legendary fish, by the end of the month. So yeah, I kind of have to get to level 10 fishing ASAP. But I did get a cutscene from Sophia, who gifted me some quality sprinklers. How nice. Ending the night with not only level 1 foraging, but also level 1 fishing. Day 3 is prime fishing weather, so I went and collected a bunch of fish to fill up my Master Angler achievement. Or try to, at least. Don't worry, I definitely caught that catfish. Slowly, as the day went on, catching some gold qualities, and even an eel that only spawns in the rain. Leveling up to 3 and getting some pretty good cash. Day 4 did not start off great as Clint showed up at my door. Get off my property. But he did give me a furnace recipe, so that's slightly appreciated. Walking into town, I actually got a Dusty cutscene, but little does the game know, I already knew I could pet him. So, to get a start on the bundles, I used up my fishing money to collect some of the seeds I need, thankfully getting to use my new sprinkler. After that though, I really did not do much. Really just wasted my day, but at nighttime I did work a little bit on my farm. Day 5 is the most awaited day, as it is adoption day. I get to own a cat, who needs to be given, obviously, an appropriate name. Real quick, try and guess what soda it'll be in the comments. And if you guessed Fanta, which let's be fair, you probably did, you are right. I now have little Fanta on the farm. In other news, my parsnips are done, meaning I had to go collect some more. But not before meeting a new character, Claire, at the bus stop, who works at Joja. And finally, getting my community center cutscene. Since I wasted all of my money, however, I did need to spend the rest of my time fishing for more cash. Unsurprisingly, leveling up my farming game and my fishing, which is kind of crazy that day 5 I already have a level 4 fishing. The morning of day 6, I get the message I have been waiting for. I can finally go see my future man. And also that means I get to officially start on working on the community center bundles after doing the ritual to start speaking the language of the Junimos or whatever. I don't really know, I skipped the cutscene. His place is definitely different though, with a completely new basement cutscene, but I can tell this is the start of something wonderful. Obviously, I prepared for this day and immediately got done with the spring foraging bundle, getting some spring seeds in return, and allowing me to also put in a crap load of fish. This is not the only thing I opened up, however, as I also decided to go to the mines today and check out the new Adventurers Guild layout. Pretty cool. Obviously, if I want to join the guild, I need to slay 10 slimes, but today I just wanted to make it down to floor 10. Sadly though, there wasn't enough time left, only reaching floor 7. Ending the day, finally making a furnace for my new resources and leveling to 1 in mining. I get the first of many that I most likely won't talk about, Queen of the Sauce on day 7, learning how to cook stir fry, and finally made a scarecrow. I do not know why it took me so long. I really need these crops to stay alive. The fishing grind continues though, getting myself a fiberglass rod and hoping to level up to 5. Y'all, I didn't level up at all. I only got a little fairy on my farm. Don't worry though, the fairy was helpful, as waking up on day 8, they grew some of my crops, which I just fully got rid of. Didn't save one for a bundle or nothing. Being kind of discouraged on my fishing journey, I hit up the mines again, this time hoping to get to level 20. Not only did I find my first artifact for the museum here, but also completed the 10 slimes quest to finally join the Adventurers Guild, topping it all off by, of course, reaching floor 20. Though I did pass out outside my farm, I luckily hit level 2 in farming and level 1 in combat. Looking at my TV for day 9, it is a good fortune day, which I wanted to believe when I went mining, but I kind of screwed myself over. No! Oh my god, no! Oh my god, no! That was an ancient seed! Oh, I was clicking too fast! Yeah, that was a tough loss. So, was getting lost in a dark cave. Not my proudest moment ever. But I gained level 2 on mining and combat. Not only was it raining on day 10, but the spirits were not happy. So I made this a fishing day instead of going somewhere that had a better chance to kill me. At the end of the day, leveling my foraging and fishing, choosing the Fisher perk. Day 11, I got 2 interesting cutscenes. One where Andy told me to use scarecrows to avoid dealing with crows. You're kinda late, but thank you. And the other was Willie telling me to fish over at a new area in the town, Shearwater Bridge. And sure, I'll definitely do that, just not today, as I headed to the mines. I really wanted to get out of the dark section, but my energy had other plans on floor 34, cause of course it did. Sadly, ending my day. The bookseller is in town on day 12, but I am broke and won't be able to visit him for a while. So I went and checked my mail to find a letter from a villager that is actually stuck in the mountains, an area I cannot get to yet, so I feel kinda bad. That is not the only mail I got, however, because the Egg Festival is tomorrow, something I am definitely looking forward to. This seems so early to me, but with the money I now have, I actually went and upgraded my axe. Yes, before I even got a backpack upgrade. I know, I'm really stupid. Today was a pretty good day, as not only did I catch a new goldfish that expanded added to the game, but I finally got an ancient seed and a dinosaur egg from fishing. Now I really want to work on trying to get a coop. Day 13 is the egg day, so I prepared my farm for the eventual strawberries that I'm gonna get and headed on over. Pam fully admitted to spiking the punch. Yeah, the punch that everyone and their kids were having, but everyone seemed to be enjoying their time, so... I spent all of my money getting strawberries, then decided it was time to finally start the hunt. It was indeed different than the unmodded version, but I seemed to be doing pretty well, culminating in, of course, winning the whole thing! Ending the day by planting my strawbs and headed to bed with a farming level up. Today was a bit of a gifting day as I realized I wanted someone to dance with at the flower festival, so I gifted Haley. I also went to donate some things at the museum and finally picked up my axe. Not that I necessarily needed it though, cause I spent my time fully in the mines. Luckily reaching floor 40 before my energy was a little too low, going to bed with level 3 in mining for the day. The salmon berries are here, which totally helps with my mining journey, but in actuality, I am just so weak. I swear I have to swing at things for ages before they actually die. Yeah, cool, I'm getting materials and making it up in the levels, but it's so dang annoying. Sadly, I stayed in the mines a little too long, passing out above my farm and leveling up to 3 in combat. Day 16, I woke up to many of my community-centered crops being done, so of course I headed over there to put those in. Since I still need to sell one of each crop for completion, I had to go and get more seeds from Pierre, which resulted in the infamous Joja cutscene, where Morris comes in and just steals all of the customers. Doesn't matter to me though, because I am going to the mines. Never mind, I hate being here because I am taking so much damage! Dude, why? I deadass made 5 levels of progress. I am so weak. Only good thing coming out of this day was the loot. Because of my mining ventures, I was able to mostly get done with the blacksmith bundle, opening up the vault and the bulletin board, but ultimately just missing 1 measly fire quartz. But since the spirits were displeased today, I went and recovered Robin's axe that she had lost a couple days ago and tried to check out the Shearwater Bridge for fishing. After struggling for quite a while, caught a new expanded fish, the butterfish. How silly looking. Using up the remainder of my day, still fishing. Day 18, I start off by gifting Haley, who I want to dance with at the festival, and I guess I'm doing pretty okay since I already got a cutscene. Yippee. But after that, focusing on more fishing because the month is almost over, and if I'm going to catch the legend, I really got to get to level 10. Before going to sleep, I planted some spring seeds to help out with my foraging level and went to bed with level 7 fishing. I've made some money according to my new achievement, but it's just not good enough. So the first thing I get up to today is finishing a quest by George, who apparently wants to put a quartz on his great-grandfather's tombstone, earning me, so much money. The day, alas, was pretty chill as I was only fishing, but did put one of the fishes in its respective bundle. Day 20, I got a lot of new crops for the fishing bundle and perfection goal, but I had a realization. I swear I should have been asked about my farm's cave by now. Of course, it's just not uncovered yet, so I made sure to do that in hopes of Demetrius coming by to my farm to help me out. Keeping up with this mining kick, I did go to the mines, with a little more success this time, reaching all the way to 65 and gaining a mining level. It was raining day 21, so I didn't have to water my crops, but I do have to pick them up because my first set of strawberries were done. Before continuing on my strenuous fishing journey, I went and gifted my hopeful future husband, the wizard, as I finally had something that he liked on me. Gifted Haley too, and went to upgrade my pickaxe pickaxe. Since, yeah, I don't need to be going to the mines right now, I need to get my head in the water. Ending the day with level 4 farming and 8 in fishing. Hell yeah. The day finally came for Demetrius to ask about my empty cave, and I'm aware, I've talked a lot of shit about the fruit cave, and I still hate it. But did I choose it? Yeah, I did. I'm scared I'm not gonna get the fruit I need, so leave me alone. I went to see Haley, even stopping by the museum with some donations, and finally getting my backpack upgrade. Yeah, I took a very long time doing that. But that is not the only upgrade I got, as I finally got a new fishing rod. Yeah. Or killing it. But I ended the night with no new fishing level. You know how I said I didn't need to go to the mines anyways, because I needed to focus on my fishing level? Well, my pickaxe was ready, and what did I do? Headed to the mines. Cool. Great. I made it pretty far. Floor 80 to be exact. But I have other priorities at the moment. And you may be thinking, oh, don't worry, just continue on with the fishing tomorrow. It's the flower dance today. Great. Oh no. I made my rounds talking to everyone, noticing the wizard wasn't even there. How annoying. But of course, my goal was to ask Haley, since I knew I could level her up in time. But what I wasn't expecting was for her to say no. What do you mean no? What? Yeah, apparently you have to get them to 4 hearts for them to say yes. What did I have her at? 3. I sat there for 8 minutes just spamming the chat button because maybe, just maybe, she would level up and would say yes. Obviously that did not happen. So I had to start the dance sitting around and just watching everyone. Oh, I don't have to be here. I can just leave. I don't want to exit the game because then I'd have to resize my window, but... Yep, I closed the game. And restarted. But a part of me wishes I didn't, because guess what I spent my time doing? The mines. The place I specifically stated I did not need to go to, because I am still not a high enough fishing level. I even blew up the fire quartz I needed for that one bundle, because I'm stupid. So really, I did super well today. And going to bed, I did not realize it was going to rain the next day. And to catch the legend, I need it to be raining. So this could possibly be the last day that I can catch this fish. Quickly, I messed with my crops, even leveling up because of it, and then headed immediately to the beach. There's a chance that Willie is selling good enough food to help my fishing level, but the one I found was just +1 fishing, which would only get me to 9, not 10. So of course, I sat and fished all day, and after decided to check my weather for tomorrow. What? No way. Oh god. I did not reach level 9 today, so yeah, I redid the day, fishing for even more time, but sadly, I still did not level. The only real notable thing coming out of this was the fact I fished up a fire quartz that I needed for that blacksmith bundle, and farming level 5, taking the tiller profession. Friday the 26th rolled around, and I collected everything I needed to try and possibly get this fish. I had bait, a tackle, and went directly to the lake. It took a couple in-game hours, but I finally leveled up, which means if I eat a trout soup, I can get the ability to fish up the legend. All I'm hoping now is that it's not that hard to fish up. Okay, I can quit. Yep. I don't need to do anything anymore. I'm done. To continue on with the celebration, I donated some items, finally finishing the blacksmith bundle, which opens the mine carts and allows me to get around town easier, and foraging around on my farm. Of course, leveling up to 9 in fishing and 3 in foraging. Day 27, we got up to a bit as I went and took my axe to Clint and got a fishing pond started by Robin. Yeah, the entire reason I wanted to get the legend was so I could be making bank from the Legends aged row. Early money is important, and this seemed like a pretty dang good idea. Now that I'm not worried about fishing, I can actually go to the mines and not feel bad about it. Finally, reaching floor 100 and getting that nice star drop. Of course, giving y'all the perfect reminder to subscribe. But that wasn't the end though, as I got up to 105 and made it home a little bit quicker because of the new minecarts. Going to bed with a level 5 combat upgrade. It is the last day of spring and I decided to, of course, go visit the cart, spending my money on pretty stupid items, and then going to see my man. He has his legs crossed. He looks like he's floating. I put a crap ton of items in my community bundles, but I knew dang well I could finish the mines today. So what did I do? Finished the god dang mines. Not before almost dying though. Oh my god, I struggled. Get me out of here. So I picked up this mysterious key and made my way to Marlin, who was pretty happy about my achievement. This spring was pretty okay. Definitely not as optimized as a lot of good players, but we got decently high leveled up on things. Which brings us to the summertime. Of course, my crops are dead. Very sad. But I have a new arsenal of things to plant, which is why I started putting out some sprinklers to make my morning routine of watering crops a little easier. I got every crop but more melons as I needed quality melons for my bundle, but we'll see how that goes. My fishing pond is also finally done, meaning I can throw the legend in there. And that's not all on fishing, as I wandered my way down to the beach to try and collect all the ones I knew I could for the season. And the new expanded items like the sand dollar, which was really cute. At the end of the day, donating to my bundles. Day 30, I finally got a note about that landslide we heard about getting fixed earlier, so maybe I'll be able to meet that villager soon. Besides this, I got some more crops to plant, allowing me to visit a lot of ladies in town, since they always convene in the shop on Tuesdays. Even getting to finish a quest from Jody. Somewhere I actually haven't visited is the forest west of the Wizard's Tower, and I thought I would be able to find some forageables there, since I'm halfway done with the summer bundle anyways, and I was right. But sadly, we'll have to explore more later since it's getting pretty late. I woke up day 31 to Susan, the trapped farmer, showing up on my farm. She seems super nice and just gets added to the list of people I now have to befriend. I actually went and checked out the area on a different date, but it's just a new farm there along with the original spawn, so okay. I really did a bunch of random things today, like donating museum items, talking to people, collecting my steel axe that was ready, and getting more JoJo lore regarding how awful of a company they are, which we obviously already knew, but expanded expands on it, if you will. At the end of the day, I freed up more space on my farm, finding the greenhouse, and saving space for a potential coop, leveling up to 4 in foraging. Today was a random day of gifting a crap ton of people, and using my brand new axe to get into the secret woods. That looked completely different in this mod, but it's kind of nice since there is more hardwood for me to get. Finishing my time in the woods by collecting the wood skip and going to bed. Well, the green rain showed up a lot sooner than I thought, on just the 5th of this month. My dumb ass thought this would be the best time to gift people in the game, but no, they're all too scared and don't want to be gifted. Losers. Instead, I worked on a bunch of bundles, even completing the summer forageables, and spent the rest of my sad time in the woods, chopping trees, earning myself a new level. Can't say anything crazy happened on day 34, as I was just fishing the entire time, but I did collect some new fish that I did not have. The fishing journey continued on the 35th, finally being able to catch the pufferfish, sturgeon, and even the stonefish, ghostfish, and ice pip. I'm kinda killing my master angler achievement right now. Yeah, that was a lie. I actually sold the fish I needed for the bundles, which means I have to get the goddamn pufferfish again. A relatively hard fish to catch. But I can't do it today, it's already too late, so I confined myself to the farm where I actually made a ton of money because the Legend Aged roe sells for a crap ton. The first thing I did with the money was go and get an apple tree. It won't produce fruit this season, but it will grow, and I need a bunch of apples for the bundle. Anyways, too much time this morning, so I was able to snatch myself another pufferfish. Thank God. And I tried to go for a lava eel, but it was not happening. Like, no. So I quickly dropped off some bundle items and went to bed. I checked my mail on day 38, receiving a notice about the luau, which I kind of freaked out about since this is a really good chance for me to level up my friendships with everyone. But no, instead of worrying about it, I went and upgraded my hoe, donated some fruit from my fruit cave, and even went and got a coop. And even after doing all of this, it was still pretty early, so I finally took myself back to the new expanded forest to check it out. Immediately, there was an abandoned vineyard and a kind of fenced-in area, but I couldn't find anything useful there. I do know there's some fish that I need to catch in the stream though, but I sadly did not get lucky with that. What I did get lucky with was level 10 fishing though. Of course, getting the angler achievement. You know how I said I should be worried about the luau? I really thought an iridium fish would do fine. It's a high quality ass fish, like surely. So when the event started, I headed down to talk with everyone I possibly could, and then dumped my fish into the pot, hoping for a good result. Really? That sucks. He wasn't happy at all. I tried. I really didn't have anything good. I'm sorry. Though that was not the outcome I wanted, I spent the remainder of my time chopping trees and making money. Crazy enough, I did day 12 twice because someone decided to glitch the hell out of my furnaces. Like, come on, dude. But the day was mostly spent getting copper bars and foraging around town, thankfully donating my findings and leveling up to 6 in foraging. Day 41 was actually when I was gonna get another legendary fish, but it was raining, so none of that, I guess. I did harvest some melons that were done, but I'm slowly realizing I am not getting the quality crops I need. So I'm definitely gonna have to do something about that, making myself not only a new farm, but also a bunch of fertilizer to help. I gotta put in my melons into the bundle and also completed the ocean fish because the last one I needed was a rain exclusive, thus ending my day with a farming upgrade, finally getting a quality sprinkler. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about it, but I do have a coop, which means not only can I go gifting a bit, I can get myself some new chickens that I, of course, named Sprite and Cola. I got so lucky with my traveling cart, managing to get a red cabbage seed, which if you didn't know is pretty hard to get or even find. I also went and started a housing upgrade. Yeah, I've been making a ton of money. On my way home from the carpenters, I did dig up a new expanded item that goes into one of my bundles. So I think today was pretty dang good. Day 43, my first set of blueberries are done, and I finally went to try for that legendary crimson fish, which I thought would be rough, but honestly, getting an octopus was so much harder. For money's sake, I just continued fishing for the rest of the day, ending my night. Tuesdays are a great gifting day, so I loaded up everything I needed and went straight into town. The person who was the most out of the way is definitely Marlon and my man, and Susan. I literally forgot she existed. But at the end of the day, I donated some bundles and ended there. Day 45, my house upgrade was done, which means I can now cook. I am really putting Robin to work though, because yeah, I got a barn now on my farm. The rest of the day spent getting materials because I was now broke in that area. Day 46 was a bit of an odd day as I processed some geodes, getting to donate those to the museum, some bundle action, and spent the rest of my time fishing. The morning of day 47, I wanted to do more for my bundles, so the first thing I did was head to the mines to try and get more clay, since apparently that is the only thing I'm missing for the construction bundle. It didn't take too long though, allowing me to not only complete that bundle, but spend the rest of my hard-earned fishing money on the vault bundles, since I definitely want to go to the desert ASAP. Day 48, my barn was done, meaning I could go and get some cows, respectively named Starry and Pepsi. Exploring around down by Marnie's farm, I didn't realize the trout derby was going on, and if y'all remember how I feel about this derby, I hate it. Love my boys though, don't worry. I decided to overcome this feeling though by actually participating and even catching one on the first try. This genuinely might be the first time I have caught a golden tag. I was able to collect even more, but my main goal was to try and catch the fish in the other woods since I'm still missing one for the specialty fish bundle. Sadly, I failed. Sunday, day 49, is another gifting day, but also when I got a wizard cutscene. I get all of the lore about a barrier on the town and just how cool he is in general. Pretty stoked about it, not gonna lie. I also grabbed some things I needed from the traveling cart, as I've been doing pretty good not to miss it, and ended my day. I finally managed to get the fish I needed on day 50, so I gathered some other items I collected and headed on over. What? I'll take it. Are we joking? That's something I literally need to put in the community center. Ending the day by getting a cutscene telling me I can now get mystery boxes, and of course, getting a crap ton of money. It is Tuesday, which is a gifting day, but my crops are also done. Thank God. I managed to get most of the people in town, even completing a quest for Olivia, whom I actually haven't thought about in a while. Upgraded my pickaxe, and of course, leveled up to 7 in farming. Day 52, I actually helped Marnie with a little goat quest. She wanted a carrot, so I kind of just handed one over, I guess. Since I had enough money, I took the time to go finish the vault, meaning I can head over to the desert starting tomorrow. Though now I am completely broke, so I spent the rest of my time fishing, of course, getting this cute little cutscene in the middle of the night. Waiting for the bus to open, I donated a bunch of items I had, like a 4-leaf clover I had that is now in the game, thanks to Expanded. But obviously, the main goal was to head to Calico Desert, which looks completely different. The Oasis shop now being above the bus. I talked to Sandy, who was happy I was here, and also checked out the Desert Trader, who was basically in the same spot. But this desert is so big now, it feels like I'm walking forever. Quickly, I snagged up some forageables and fish that are exclusive to this part of the map, and took them to my bundles, thus ending my day. Many days ago, I exclaimed that I needed to make sure I got gold quality crops to fill my bundle requirements, but no, I got 4. 4 out of 5. Thank God I have another chance during the fall, because this easily could have ended my run. But speaking of running, I am running out of this rain and taking myself to the desert, since I can now hit up Skull Caverns. Over the course of me being here, I wasn't doing great, but when I almost died, I definitely knew I needed to get out. So maybe next time, leveling up to 6 in mining and 6 in combat. Though the spirits were in good humor today, I actually decided to work on my farm by finally getting a milk pail, making a cheese press, and upgrading the barn. Pigs can't get truffles in the winter, so I need to upgrade this ASAP, and the rest of my day was spent making sure I cleaned up my farm and getting more wood. On day 56, it is actually Sunday, which means it's a gifting day, but not only that, there is a Moonlight Jelly Festival, and it is the last day of summer. I spent all of my time talking to people and even getting Olivia and Victor's cutscenes, Lewis's cutscenes. Not Martin though, as I never get to see him, even though yes, he is one of the new characters. By the time I was done with it, it was time for the jellies. I usually wouldn't go to the ceremony because I don't get anything from it, but it was still a really nice way to end the summer season. The first day of fall, I overhauled my farm to make it a lot more self-sufficient, but I did accidentally mess up getting the crops I needed. Yeah, I sold those on accident. I went and successfully got my plants now, and even putting higher quality fertilizer this time to guarantee I get quality crops for the bundle. This took surprisingly all day though, with me ending my time by going to the community center. Day 58 is a Tuesday, meaning I get to make friends today. But what I wasn't expecting was to make a new friend. Who? Who is this? Who the f is Scarlet? What? Who are you? Luckily, she is not on my friends list, so I do not have to worry about her hearts this late in the year. I get a cutscene for the request board opening up, actually deciding to do an easy one, and thus ending my day. I had some fun random things to put in the bundles on day 59, but most importantly, I got a cutscene with Clint. He told me about this boulder that he could move if I helped him with the materials, and to get more info, I needed to go back to his place. So I did that, but The entire playthrough, I thought it said Iridium Bar. Guys, I have no words for my actions, so I'll just get you to day 60 and into a new cutscene. One that was actually pretty sad. Andy and Lewis were in a heated argument in the town's plaza, literally alerting everyone in the vicinity about how Andy can barely run his own farm and the Fernhill government is not helping out. Lewis tries helping, but it's understandable that Andy is upset and just needs time to cool off. For some reason, it's my job to go and check on him though, which is what I got up to today. Besides fishing, because yeah, I got a bunch of fall-specific fish as well as a legendary. It was really easy, so I don't have to hype it up. Day 61 was kind of boring as I finally found the forage I needed to complete the fall foraging bundle, and that was really the only interesting thing that happened. Hell yeah, Barn Deluxe upgrade on day 62. And also, I finally took a lot of my geodes to be processed, which really worked towards completing the entire museum. I even got an achievement for it, so clearly I'm doing something right. I took myself to the Skull Caverns really just for materials, but I did find ectoplasm, which I can take to the wizard on day 63 to complete the board request. It was a Sunday, so I did my usual rounds of gifting people, but when I went to do Sophia, I got a pretty alarming cutscene. It's kind of clear from the beginning that she's not doing well mentally, but I'm glad now that Scarlet is here to help her out. Talking did take all day, however, so I just went to bed. While reading my letters on day 64, which were pretty good, I not only got a recipe from the ectoplasm donation, but also a letter to teach me magic from Rasmodius. This sadly distracted me from the crow on my farm because I did not have my scarecrows placed correctly. Dang it. I did get a letter to find Linus's basket for him, which was a pretty easy task to complete. I just wasn't expecting to find him in a graveyard. Why is everything so sad right now? And before I went to the wizard's tower, I headed to the bridge to fish, since I know there's still some that I need to catch, like the puffy fish. Puffy fish? Puffy fish, what the f? The puppy fish, how cute. What's even cuter though is this cutscene with my man. Cute! Wait, you look so good with pink! How cute. Yeah, I was a big fan. Day 65 is a Tuesday, so a gifting day, but I do indeed have all the apples I needed for Marnie's bundle, so I completed that and headed to everyone else in town. I got to most people I forgot or just couldn't gift yesterday, and then finally bought myself some pigs. Everyone meet Poppy and Olipop. I didn't really have any other plans for the day, so I decided to go to Skull Cavern, but that process seemed more difficult than I thought. No, it happened so quick. No. That's so stupid. What did I lose? Oh, and I'm poor too. The only good thing coming at the end of the day was when I leveled to 7 in mining and 8 in foraging. These spirits were happy on day 67, so surely after I gave Marnie the amaranth she asked for, I headed to the cavern again. This time it was a challenge, but not that it was hard, but because I was barely making it down the floors. Thankfully, getting a pretty nice auto grabber on floor 12, but ultimately ending the day on floor 19. What? Day 68 was pretty chill with a bunch of cutscenes and whatnot, but you already know what I got up to. Going back to the Skull Caverns, ending the day with a silly little combat upgrade. What greeted me as I opened up my door on day 69 was Jody asking me to come to dinner with her tonight. And sure, I guess. But that isn't all. Looking in my mail, I got a letter about my coop upgrade that I do not remember buying, nor have footage of. But at least I finally get to incubate my dinosaur. I went to take out some gifts, specifically to Sandy since it was her birthday, and upgraded to an even bigger coop. Waiting around until night to go and eat with Jody and her family. Yeah, my cow also had a baby. What? Day 70 is also the Stardew Valley Fair Day, so I grabbed a couple of things of all different types and headed over. I quickly talked to everyone and set up my display, but after looking at the prize options, I knew I had to get 3 of them. The Rare Crow, Star Drop, and finally, the Furniture Catalog. Would this take a while? Yeah, it would. But I sat there and did the fishing minigame for an hour or 2 and finally came up with the profits. First buying the Star Drop, then the catalog, and using my Grange display money that I obviously won to buy the Rare Crow. Alas, ending my day. Day 71, I went to chat people up since I couldn't yesterday. While in town, I picked up Robin's Resource Rush because it's just getting wood and I do that pretty frequently. But most of my day was spent fishing, which I did not have any luck in. Quick day 72 was, as I had some crops done, I gifted Marnie for her birthday and just hit up some floors in Skull Cavern, ending with level 9 farming and level 8 mining. Morning of day 73, I went and got myself a duck named Canada Dry and a bunny named Simply. Hopefully these will help with my leftover bundles. And in the same vein, I also went to go get a silo. And on my way back to fish at Shearwater Bridge, I did this. What? Whoa! No way! That scared the crap out of me, but what? I have been obsessively getting rid of garbage cans too. Dang, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Didn't get the expanded legendary I needed, but I did make a lot of money today. So I tried again day 74 and failed miserably. My trap tackle going out right before I hooked the legendary. So needless to say, this made me miserable. And I stopped for the day and went to talk to people instead. I guess mindlessly picking up wood worked towards my goal of finishing Robin's Resource Rush. But there's other things I want to finish today, like some bundle items. First, getting the birch syrup recipe I needed from Pierre's. Using that with sap and my birch water from tapping the trees on the farm, I got the syrup, then making it into candy. Officially completing the chef's bundle. Day 76 was going to be the day that I got the Wolf Snapper legendary, but after getting over there, I did not realize how hard it would be. I struggled like a lot. But I managed to do it at 1 p.m., leaving the rest of the day to do whatever I wanted. Like opening geos to donate to the museum and chatting up everyone in town. I went to Skull Caverns because I needed experience mostly, but I managed to get lucky for once, finally getting my first prismatic shard 77 days into the playthrough. I knew immediately what I had to do with it though, which was taking it down to the center of these pillars and getting myself the Galaxy Sword. I've really been needing this. My plan was to return to the caves, but before that, I donated a duck egg I got, as well as my new expanded sweet potato. Not doing great in the mines today, but fortunately leveling up to 8 in combat. Day 77, a lot of my crops were done, specifically my sweet gemberry that I immediately took to the secret forest, getting myself a star drop. You know exactly what that means by now, I hope. From my mining excursion, I had some museum items to donate, as well as the rabbit fur I needed to complete my pantry bundles. The last of my day spent getting the area around my greenhouse prepared and leveling up to 9 in foraging. Morning of day 80, Gunther was at my farm to personally thank me for donating so much to his museum. Not only am I getting a prize for all my trouble, but this cutscene is basically telling me that I have to start leveling up my friendship with him now. Great. We're not done with the cutscenes though. Oh, no. Because Marlin also has a sewer cutscene for me, which is something I'll have to investigate soon. I quickly put up my ancient seeds in the new greenhouse and ended my day in the Skull Caverns, where I almost died. Oh my god, that was so close. Thanks for the level 9 in mining though. The reward that Gunther talked about was much better than I thought. Wow! 40,000? What? That like doubled my cash. Yo, I'm rich. What? Oh, cool. Not only rich in profit, but also rich in animals because my dinosaur finally hatched. Now named 7-Up. Though this is a festival day, I spent most of my time gifting people and chopping trees. I didn't really want to go to the festival, but I do want the golden pumpkin that is in a completely different maze with this mod, and I'm bad at mazes. So I looked it up. Still got my pumpkin though, so whatever. Ending the night with a pretty good harvest. Even though day 82 was the last day of fall, I didn't get up to anything crazy. Firstly, adding more crops to my greenhouse, so I have more income during the winter. I went and saw people, still not fully being able to talk to the dwarf, and starting to finally get some paths created on my farm, thus ending my fall year 1. There aren't many crops to plant for winter, but I do have some powder melons. Quickly making sure my animals have heaters, thank God. And getting an interesting cutscene. I gotta chase this little shadow guy all the way to the park, so I can finally start getting secret notes in the game. Afterwards, taking my pickaxe to get upgraded, as well as my backpack. Now, we should have a chat. I don't know if you noticed, but it didn't rain at all during the fall season. And to complete the fishing bundle, I have to get the walleye. Only available in the fall and winter during rain. And it does not rain during the winter. I remembered I do totally have the rain totem recipe, but now I just have to see if I have the truffle oil for it. Oh! Ah! Okay. I didn't think I left over truffle oil at all. I think I like totally screwed myself over. Oh! I can make a rain totem. Why the f does it use truffle oil? Hello? At least I know I can make the totem with just a little bit of work. The last of the day was spent getting all of the winter forageables and my first secret note, completing not only the dye bundle and research bundle, but the entirety of the crafting room, opening up the quarry. Evelyn showed up on my farm day 84. She looks so sweet. Aw, hi Evelyn. Giving me a little pot. I made sure to talk to as many people as I could since it was Tuesday. Of course, now having to befriend Gunther and getting some new fish at the end of the night. On the quest to get a bunch of secret notes on day 85, I went to Skull Cavern. Absolutely eating so no, I had to go get my pickaxe again and redo the whole thing, reaching 61 and this time not dying. Don't worry, I also fumbled on day 86, as I spent the entire day not getting the legendary glacier fish. Really blows my mind I wasted my day like that. And I would continue day 87, but I do have some other things to do, like finally getting to go to the bookstore because I'm rich or whatever. And at the end of the day, getting the legendary, even leveling up to farming 10, choosing artisan. Day 88 was pretty chill, as I went and upgraded my axe and decorated my home. Also using my newly upgraded pickaxe to finally unlock my grandpa's shed. Very interesting things going on in here. But day 89, I got 2 whole cutscenes. First was Pierre, who I don't care about, and second was Robin explaining that she could help fix up my grandpa's shed, which I would take her up on, but I got even more cutscenes. Meeting Alessia, a very, very pretty hunter friend of Marlin's. At the end of the day, complaining that I am not making progress in my friendship levels. Day 90, I immediately used my now done rain totem. Just had to wait for the pine tar for a hopeful walleye tomorrow. But ultimately, it is a very chill day for a fishing competition that I really just went to for the rare crow and to win. Just going to bed as soon as I got home though. My powder melons are done on day 91, so I just replanted those, went and got my upgraded axe, and of course, got my god dang walleye. That was way too stressful, but successfully, I have now completed the entire community center because I also got a rabbit's foot that I needed, all on a random Tuesday. A Tuesday that I usually talk to people on, so of course, I did just that. People were very happy on day 92 that our community center was done. But of course, where there is happiness, there is drama. Or performatism. I don't give a crap about Pierre's happy fun time speech. He just wants Joja gone so he can steal people's money without competition. And now, a couple of people are out of a job. Oh well, I guess. I got a Gunther and Martin cutscene, and Marlin, all because of the fact finishing the community center gets you hearts. I did not know that, but it also means I can now go to the sewers. I quickly took myself to get my watering can upgraded and headed to the mines because not only do I now have to level Krobus, my dwarf levels aren't going up, meaning I need to speak Dwarvish quick. Luckily, getting the last needed scroll at the end of the day. Thank God. I have been waiting for a good luck day to finally hit 100 in the mines, so I teleported early morning and got started. My holes were pretty good and I had a bunch of bombs, but it being almost 7 and only at level 60, I was starting to get pretty nervous. It got to a point where I was able to use my staircases and made it all the way to floor 100. Yeah, remember when I died and had to restart my day? The secret note telling me to get to level 100 was got on that day. Meaning I just went to level 100 in the mines for absolutely no reason. At least I got level 10 mining though. As much as I wanted to be upset, I got a new forest cutscene showing me an interesting pathway. A pathway I was too dumb to figure out. I gave a random bear in the forest some maple syrup, got an incredibly sad Claire cutscene, and finished off the day with getting myself a star drop, a void chicken to incubate, and turning in that dwarf scroll. Even leveling to 9 in combat. Day 95, I got some crazy unexpected mail. Yeah, I can ask out the wizard. So after upgrading my pickaxe, I went straight to Pierre's to get the bouquet I needed. But before I was even able to hand it over, I got the cutest little wizard cutscene. Oh, how adorable. And then finally asked him to be my partner. I actually wasn't expecting him to say yes at all. Yay! Why do I have more hearts with Marnie? For the rest of the day, I got the boat cutscene by Willy to eventually fix it up and head to Ginger Island, something I can definitely not do right now, and spent my time absolutely destroying the Squid Fest. In a good way. I ate that. Sunday is an average gifting day, so of course I headed on over to the Wizards. Wait, Queasy? What the f? Crazy thought? Do y'all think I can get him to marry me before the end of the year? Why do I actually think I can do it? I gave up on it because I didn't think it was possible. Now that I'm thinking about it, oh, I think it's possible, chat. Oh, it totally is. Thank God. In other news, the rest of the day was pretty chill, with some girls fighting and getting myself a new expanded fish. I still don't have the Calico Desert secret note, so I went to the quarry where I mined a lot, even doing this very dangerous cave, ending the day not getting the note, but getting all the fish I needed from the midnight market. I had some good harvest on day 98, but decided to finally check out that forest again, using someone's map to guide myself through. Could not have done it without that. Finding some very interesting merchants, even a legendary fish merchant. No, I will not be getting the legendary I cannot get yet, but I will end my day getting the sewer legendary. I started off day 99 by getting 2 max hearts with Magnus because yeah, it's his birthday. Finally getting a lava eel that I've struggled with for a while. I just didn't show you all that. And chilled out at the market. Of course, day 100 I got mail about the mermaid's pendant. Teehee. And the wizard wanting to meet at 2 p.m. So I did a bunch of random things, like of course using my rain totem, donating some museum items, hatching a god dang void chicken named Zero Sugar. I really struggled with that one. And headed to the forest. Cause yeah, we're going on a date. He definitely used up way too much energy, but the place was gorgeous. And the vibes were even better. How sweet! No, we can definitely get distracted, sir. Let's go. The day ending with lightning striking a poor, helpless Jojo Mart. I raced on over to the beach on day 101 to get that god dang mermaid pendant and ask my man to marry me. Ah! Yay! Wait, I can't believe I'm actually getting this done. What? Wait, oh, I'm so excited. Absolutely too ecstatic to do anything else. I just started working on my farm. Day 102, I failed at trying to get the secret note I needed for the cavern. And after doing some tasks like talking to people, learning about a new community day held on the 22nd of each month, and harvesting some cranberries, I still failed at getting the secret note on day 103. No time to fail anymore though, because I'm getting married. I didn't think I could do it! How exciting! I'm so proud of myself. Oh my god. No way we live together, right? There's no way. What? Oh, I used community day to basically chat with everyone, but spent the rest of my day just chopping trees. Ah! That scared me. I was like, why is there a man in my bed? Ah! That freaked me out. Of course, also leveling up to level 10 foraging. While in the secret forest on day 105, I finally got that stupid note, meaning I can now try and go to the caverns on a good luck day. I did things like upgrade my hoe, decorate my farm, and got prepared for a hopefully very, very lucky day. And oh, it was. But it sure did not feel like it. What the hell was that? Don't worry, we did a lot better, making our way through with relative ease, getting a couple chests along the way. But since I over-prepared, I did get to level 100 quick, going through the usual key cutscene of drinking some weird potion and bidding each other farewell. I didn't know what else to do with my time, however, so I just kept going in the mines. Day 107 is Christmas, how cute, where I was not expecting much, but after giving my gift to Haley, I got a gift from Harvey. What? I basically just got back what I was giving to somebody else. Yeah, that's exactly what I just gave to Haley. Using my time at the end of the night, I headed to the missing bundle and put some jazz in. I got up to some menial tasks on day 108, specifically trying to level up my combat, which is the only thing not at level 10. Of course, that not happening at the end of the night. So I took myself to the cavern instead on day 109, where it did happen. After only 8 floors. Happily ending the day gifting Sophia for her birthday, finally getting the stupid fish I forgot about, and choosing Brute for my profession. It is the last day, and the only thing I am worried about are my friendship levels. If only I had just gotten the last dwarf scroll sooner. Cause yes, the dwarf and Krobus are both at 2 hearts. And to finish my challenge, I need them to be at 3. I used a star drop tea on the dwarf, guaranteeing I get to 3 hearts. But for Krobus, I sadly fell short, still staying at a measly 2. But to be fair, I didn't have much time to get him to level up anyways. I am unlocked him like 2 weeks ago. So I didn't let that get me down, as I went and cheered up Sophia by giving Rusty some good old pets, and even started a new pond on my farm, ending the night by doing a bunch of redecorating. We are at the end though, and personally, I loved this mod, and I am so proud that we accomplished almost all of the goals. Of course, we will be going till perfection, so make sure to subscribe to not miss out on that. I have many more challenges to do and many things to get up to, so definitely let me know what I should strive for next, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Stardew Valley Expanded is Stardew's most popular mod with millions of downloads, and I just completed 100 days. Of course, my goal is perfection, so in helping myself reach that, I have a couple of plans for the next 100 days. First, we will try to get max hearts with every single villager, get all of the animals and star drops, and lastly, open all unlockable areas. This is not a lot of time to do that, so let's quickly get into it. We continue off on day 113. I know I somehow skipped 2 entire days last time, so my numbers were wrong. Whoops. When I left my house for the day, I got a Kent cutscene, as he is back in town with his family, which of course just means another person I have to gift now. I went to start getting my farm ready, but apparently this isn't the only farm I have to deal with, as going into town, Lewis told me about the community garden. I would love to talk about it more, but I do not use it once throughout this entire video. Going by Pierre's, I get a quest for talking to everyone in town, so after grabbing some parsnips and a bunch of crops I need for cooking and my shipment goals, and hitting up the desert shop for crops as well, I go and hit people up. Obviously, at the end of the day, starting my new moneymaker, planting starfruit in my greenhouse. Day 114 is a Tuesday, meaning a gifting day. So I grabbed a load of things, which also really helped in trying to complete my talking to people quest. But speaking of quests, I got 3 interesting cutscenes. The first one being Magnus talking about sealing his ex-wife off in this little cave. Now I have to get back the magic ink she stole. Great. The next one was Marlon inviting me to join the guild meetings, which I obviously said yes to. And not really related to a quest, but when I went to see Andy at his place, he officially cleaned it up. And he's making money now, so pop off, guy. At 9, I checked to see how many people I talked to and got pretty sad news. Oh, it's Victor! No! No, 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 no! There's no way! I'm restarting. Yeah, I redid it, and actually completed the quest this time, as well as ended my day asking Krobus about the Dark Talisman for the wizard, which unlocked the mutant bug layer for me. Completing that friendship request really helped me out, because on day 115, I had so much mail. And of course, cutscenes. I like that all the moms in town convene together. I think it's super fun and cute. They obviously want to let me in, but yeah, I don't have a kid, so. Finally, I made myself complete the summit quest. It was super easy and will be fixed soon, but the rest of my day was spent getting materials to make more furnaces. The morning of day 116, I did some work on the farm, like putting another legendary in my new pond, and getting some more starfruit planted. When I walked into town, however, I got a cutscene of Sophia who was crying over a grave, but it ended there, meaning that I needed to go talk to her, which I did not do. I instead made some tree farms and ended the day. Day 117 was pretty quick, getting a Susan cutscene, checking out the new summit and the swamp, which is all new looking in the expanded mod. Couldn't stay there for long though, as it was a little too late. Day 118, I had some parsnips done, and went to go spend some money, like buying some more pigs named Sunkissed and Brisk, as well as getting a shed put on my farm. The last half of the day was spent making my farm a little prettier. Sunday, day 119, was of course spent gifting as many people as I could get to, which helped for day 120 as I got numerous cutscenes. Again, where Shane was struggling on the cliff, And I got a little lore about Andy. His friends Jerry and Elizabeth used to live in the abandoned vineyard in the forest. He talks of how the market hurt a lot of people he knew and that the farmers really struggled for a bit. Sadly, it got too much for him and he had to head back. At the end of my day, fishing to complete an aquatic overpopulation quest. Next morning, I woke up to Shane apologizing for his actions the other day, which honestly made me miss marrying him. I'm sad. But that wasn't the only cutscene, as I got one with Victor in the graveyard, reminiscing about his lost cat. That makes me even more sad. I love cats. Hopefully we can find it. While talking to everyone in town, I gave this random dude in a van a rabbit's foot, gaining more luck, and ended my day. Day 122 was the day I returned to the swamp, wanting to get the fish I needed, but I seemed to be struggling with all of the mobs coming at me, sadly leaving with nothing and doing some of the end of the day chores. I continued those chores on day 123, like breaking open a ton of treasure troves, luckily being able to donate a couple of them, which obviously helps with our star drop goal, but obviously it was time to go back to the swamp. I stayed near the entrance this time, picking up a crab, void salmon, and alligator. How cute. Finally taking myself through the swamp maze. Yeah, I looked up a route. But once I reached the top right, I found a teleporter that led me to a more memorable site. A goblin. Now I gotta find a way to get rid of him. Passing out above my house at the end of the day. Heading to see Marlin on day 124, I got a cool cutscene where Gunther was asking for someone to escort him in the mines. Of course, I came just in time, making me the prime candidate, so we set a date for tomorrow morning. After that, I got myself some void mayonnaise, as goblins love that, I guess, and went to the swamp. He took the bait completely, running off, allowing me to get the magic ink that Magnus needed. So, why does he have a portal that leads all the way to his ex's house? That's a really weird thing to do, sir. I took my jealous ass upstairs where Magnus kinda pissed me off again. Why is he saying this? And got access to some new farm buildings. At the end of the day, I made some lightning rods for a hopeful storm in the future and finally went and got myself a mastery, choosing farming as my first one. Day 125, I looked in my mail to find a very interesting letter. Huh? What did I do? That's awkward. I didn't realize that Yeah, a goblin lost his job because of me. And I would help, but I have prior commitments in the mines with a little archaeologist. Being the brave explorer I was, I guided us to a complete treasure room, really wishing that I could steal some stuff, but apparently I couldn't. Leaving the mine, I did not realize it was the egg festival, so I stopped by to get some strawberry seeds. Otherwise, I straight up left, not even doing the hunt, and ended my day planting the crops. Day 126, Gunther sent me money for helping him yesterday. Hell yeah, that's a lot of cash. And officially got to harvest my starfruit, allowing me to get started on a very, very small keg shed. It was Sunday though, so I spent all of my time gifting people, ending the day with a lot of people pretty close to full hearts. Whoa! Whoa! What? Okay, thanks. I guess I didn't know we were like that close. Yeah, I randomly got my 4th star drop on day 127. Not only that, I did not remember the desert festival, which I don't really plan to do, but I decided to do it for today only. I got up to some fishing activities, received some legendary clothes. Get it? And took on a quest for the cavern. A quest I thought would be easy, but it surprisingly took all day, even with as much luck as I could get. Okay. I'm in bed, but whatever. cried. I said I wasn't gonna do the desert festival, but I do want free clothes, so I got those, did a quest for Pierre, and finally decided to go see the goblin in the swamp. Because we took the ink, our little henchman now sleeps on dirt since he got fired, and he needs us to help him get back on his feet, with a little quest of a lot of forageables that I thought would be pretty easy to get, because they are in fact everywhere, but that does not negate the fact that there are still mobs. Okay, so I thought I could kill it before it did that. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna move, but this game's very, very slow. Sadly, I spent the rest of my time tapping some trees and went to bed. I woke up day 129 getting the spring onion cutscene and a new Andy cutscene. Out in the woods, he takes me to have a talk next to the waterfall, admitting to me that he wanted him and other farmers to take over my grandpa's land. Kinda messed up, but he's now proud of my accomplishments and thankful to have me in his life. After that cutscene, I got a couple of tasks, like getting an outfit at the festival, hitting up Clint, and went to go forage in the swamp for the goblin. Ah, why does it do so much? What? What? Did I not have that much health? Ah, wait, I had important things on me. Oh, my spicy! Wait, I need those. Yeah, I don't have a good track record here. Waking up day 130, a little sad, but it didn't matter, cause I went back in there, successfully getting everything the henchman wanted, ending the day fishing in the mutant bug lair, only catching 2 new fish. Finally, it is a storm day, oh my god, meaning that I can finally go to Ginger Island when I get lightning rods out. It only took me, 19 days. Henchman actually also showed up at my door, super grateful for my help, and is now unlocked as a giftable player. Yay! I went back to the bug lair to catch the snatcher worm, the last fish in this area, then heading to the witch's hut to try and catch some there. Yeah, this is not happening. Going to bed, surprisingly, in my husband's bed. Walking out of the wizard's tower on day 132, I got a cutscene of Krobus and a Junimo. I tried to follow them, but I got lost, so I'll definitely have to go back at another time. I want to say today was exciting, but other than an Olivia cutscene and Shane cutscene, I was mostly excited about finishing this god dang boat. Obviously took my new batteries to Willy and went to bed, cause I was really excited. Couldn't go too quick on day 133 though, because my crops were done, as well as the bookseller being in town. But once I was done, I beelined straight for the beach, making my way finally to Ginger Island. I, of course, scared off a kid, my bad. And as I followed him further in the forest, I basically got told that I just have to make him warm up to me. And hopefully over time, he'll see how cool I am by getting a crap ton of golden walnuts. No joke, I grabbed so many. So much, in fact, I was able to open up the East Island. East? That's west. Oh my god, do I not know directions? I fully wrote down east. Not really having any walnuts to do anything else though, so I had to end my day there. Day 134 was a little too busy to head over to Ginger Island because of things like Community Day, where literally everyone gathers in town, making it the best day to go and gift people. Of course, only after I gifted and talked to everyone, I looked at the help wanted quest to say hi to everyone. So I tried as hard as I could, picking up another quest along the way, and getting a cutscene of Sophia. She seemed to be in an abandoned room crying, and didn't want to talk whenever she noticed I was there, but as I was leaving, she stopped to ask if I wanted to watch anime with her, and I said yes to hopefully cheer her up. At the end of the day, I got more talking done and went to sleep. Day 135, I had starfruit done, tending to that before going to talk to everyone in town. Of course, the last person I needed was Victor, but I did it. Ending the day by picking myself a fishing mastery that I will definitely need for Ginger Island. That I couldn't go to today as it is the flower dance, and I wanted the rare crow, so I danced all happily in my garbage hat with my husband and went to bed. Crazy thing to wake up to, day 137. Oh god. But before heading to Ginger Island, I had some strawberries done and a Victor cutscene. He told me all about his fears for the future and his mom being disappointed in him for not having a job. A little too relatable there, Victor. But once that pep talk was over, I headed to the island, starting by getting a farm set up for more starfruit production, getting some walnuts, and some pretty cool fish to add to my Master Angler achievement goal. Except for the shark. Absolutely not. Day 138, I finished up my farm more on Ginger Island, adding some speed grow and getting all the walnuts I could even remember, which was a lot. Thank God somebody made a Google Sheets. Then I went up to this peculiar woman on the beach. This is Birdie, who I will be doing a long, drawn-out quest for, as she gave me a war memento because she thinks I can do something with it. Sure. I guess. Ending the day opening up the island house and sleeping in there. I got a lot more walnuts on day 139, and most of them were actually in the volcano. A volcano that I remembered to be decently hard, but I don't mean to brag or anything. I got through it so easily. And when I reached the end, I got a cutscene of someone new. Oh, I choked on my Dr. Pepper, I'm not gonna lie. I have seen a bunch about this character, but I don't know what they do. Oh, wait, I didn't know my name! Ew, ew, gross. Why? He just disappears. Ew, ew. This is someone I will be seeing a lot more of, as they are now giftable. So, yippee. The last day of spring started with some parrots building me a bridge to a cool little bone zone and helping this researcher out of the cave. His name is Professor Snail, and he was obviously grateful, inviting me to see him in his little museum, which I actually had some stuff for after mining the bone nodes, and even getting some walnuts by doing his little survey. The latter half of my day was pretty boring for being the last day of the month, but I went to sleep knowing I'd get a lot of money in the morning. First day of summer, I got some interesting news. Ooh, what? Wait, this is so exciting. And a suspicious Cindersnap Forest scene, all for Lance to then show up at my door and then give me his schedule. But I guess that helps when I need to find him on my gifting days. Obviously, I would go to the Wizard's Tower first thing, but we do have some chores to do, like getting all the crops situated with, so I can prepare for cooking all the recipes. And after that was done, I headed to the tower. Magnus says that he created a potion to help me gain more magical knowledge, though a very strong taste, I can now summon warps. So we head to the north of my farm, and the wizard helps to set one up. Look at how cute it is. Basically, I'm able to fast travel now. Thank God. This is not the only cutscene I have though, as I needed to check out the abandoned vineyard. Going inside, there was an interesting scroll that I couldn't quite understand, so I asked Magnus, who also couldn't understand, which is why he called for backup. Hi? Who is this? Oh, okay. Moon ruined. What is with the nickname? Basically, a baby Junimo wrote the note, and they're asking for 200 starfruit. Lucky for them, I actually grow those. So that just adds on a new quest for me. At the end of the day, I received a new lizard and went to bed. Day 142, I created a warp on my farm, which is pretty nice. And on my way to Ginger Island, picked up a little request from Andy. While at my farm, I planted some crops that the frog was asking for, then headed to see Leo. Luckily, this time he actually talks to me, meaning I have a new friend to make on the island. I opened up an island trader with my golden walnuts, but obviously I need more. So I headed to the volcano, where I got many walnuts and an artifact for the island museum. Going to bed pretty successful. Wednesday, day 143, I got up to many quests. First, taking his battery over to a suspicious hole in the tunnel, and from there, it wanted me to take a shell to this box at the train station. Alas, I couldn't finish the rest of the quest because I don't have 10 beats. But it will be continued soon enough. On my way back, I said hello to Lance, who was in the town for the day, and got working on making some fertilizer for a Susan quest. 50 to be precise. So yeah, it kinda took all day, collecting some things I needed for Andy's quest, and then going to bed. Since it stormed yesterday, I had some batteries to pick up. Hell yeah. Then I went to Andy's, where I actually got a cutscene. He showed me an old image of the vineyard, and even another person in the town, basically reminiscing about the whole thing, ending our talk going out to eat. I finished his quest and quickly headed to finish Susan's as well, but of course I got another cutscene with her too. Cause of this cutscene and helping her out with crafting, I now have cheaper casks, kegs, and preserve jars. At the end of the day, I finished with harvesting some star fruit, planting some beets, and heading to bed. I know it's not the usual day, but I did some round chatting to people on a Friday, specifically to move along Birdie's quest. So I take the war memento to Kent, who recognizes the photo and gives me tomato salt, which I obviously give to Gus, and he gives me a flower. That's annoyingly where I left off with the quest, but managed to speak to a ton of people throughout the day, even getting a house upgrade. What? Okay, weird. Okay, so it is Martin's birthday, but I don't get to see Martin today because I don't have the missing bundle done to make the movie theater. So I think I'm really gonna have to work on getting the missing bundle. No, you know what I can do? Okay, I really don't want to because it makes me a decent bit of money, but we're gonna make it a sturgeon pond. I have a sturgeon. I can totally do that. So that's what I did. Ooh, a new sturgeon pond. I actually went over to Sophia's where I got a continuation of an old cutscene where she shows me her parents' room. We talk for a little bit and she tells me she's happy to have me and Scarlett as friends, but now I have a different cutscene to get to. I find my man on the beach, and we have a conversation about him wanting to give me something in return for the mermaid's pendant. I would just like to let it be known, I gave him a mermaid's pendant within 1 week of dating him. Like, we were together a week before I was like, let's get married. But for real, he puts us in a bubble and takes us all the way to this water temple where a mermaid comes and gives me a bracelet. How cool? What? Sadly, the rest of my day wasn't that cool as I spent my time fishing for island fish and avoid salmon for the missing bundle. Day 147, I get all my eggs together to go and gift people today. Finally getting to hand Sandy this rose to further that quest, in which I was able to give George a remote out in the middle of the street. I couldn't finish it though, as I wouldn't see the wizard until later, and I got in a little cutscene of Olivia annoyingly going through Victor's things and finding out he hasn't found a job yet. They have an argument, but luckily everything is resolved because he has a passion in life, building bridges, and is actively pursuing it, ending things with a nice, happy family again. I woke up to a new house on day 148, and of course to a high quest. So before I started that, I got my house upgrade, then I gave the wizard the shard, which I had to take to Willy and then back to Birdie. Finally completing that quest, all the while still talking to people. Day 149, however, I had some starfruit done on the island and needed to plant those. Afterwards, continuing my talking, even getting a Sophia cutscene where we clean her parents' room, thus ending my day finishing the Help Wanted quest. Hell no! Absolutely not. I got the sturgeon roe I needed on day 150, so I took him out and put my legendary back in. And really the only other important things are finally getting enough star fruit for the Aurora Vineyard bundle and putting another fossil in the Island Museum, gaining another level of understanding. Day 151 was a quick little luau day. This time, I thankfully managed to bring a top quality item, getting the best response from the governor. Kinda just ending my day in the quarry. Some crops were done on day 152, and not only that, but my caviar, the one I needed to put in the missing bundle. I quickly went and got a new mastery, the combat one, specifically to give me trinkets, and headed to the island. Gaining a mailbox, more walnuts, and now done beets. On day 153, I put the beets in Lewis's fridge, gaining another quest, but not the one I needed to do, as it was Alex's birthday and I do not have a good gift for him. So I tried my best to make him a complete breakfast, luckily managing to max his hearts because of it. After that, I finally went to the vineyard where I met our new friend Apples, a baby Junimo that loves starfruit. And starting tomorrow, I can gift this little guy. The morning of day 154, I got Scarlet at my house telling me I could visit her at any time. I really wish I remembered this. I don't for a very, very long time in the playthrough. I did a little bit of gifting, but it was mostly finishing the key quest of giving this dragon essence and finding a club card at my house. We sadly have no reason to go to the club at the moment though. I planted more starfruit and actually used my new fairy dust to finally get myself a silver quality wine, completing the missing bundle. Thank God. I get another cutscene during my morning, but it's just Marlon asking to talk, where we discuss creating a warp to the guild, which is gonna be pretty nice. So I gather all my magic or whatever and get that done. Now creating my second warp. Not the final cutscene though, as he asked me to bring him stuff for his boat so that we can go to the Highlands. I just don't have all of that at the moment, so can't really do that. Before I spend the rest of the day mining for those materials, I got some fir trees planted so I could get fir wax for the coop I wanted, cause it is very, very expensive. Day 156 was gifting day, so I quickly went to the movie theater getting a cutscene. And what I love about this cutscene is that Claire was feeling bad, so Martin asked if she could hang out at my farm for a bit, but instead of me taking her, he took her and I had to watch the counter at the movies. What? But of course, I managed to gift Martin afterwards. Not only that, I had fun, but a pretty gross cutscene with the henchmen. Don't try swamp food, I guess. And actually enough, collected everything I needed to complete the grandpa's shed, which Robin was obviously grateful for on day 157, but it won't be fixed for a bit, so instead I went to Apples, where I actually was able to set up a warp right in their basement. But it's super convenient for me. And collected all of my materials to fix Marlon's boat, finishing that quest and needing to see him again another time. The green rain came surprisingly late in the year on day 158, so I spent my entire day chopping trees and cutting fiber. Although my new shed is done on day 159, I don't really need to use it right now. Robin did also tell me on another day that if I got her stone, she could also build me a bridge to the shed, but not right now. I beelined straight to the island, harvesting all of my starfruit and getting to show the frog all of my crops, gaining a lot more walnuts. Finally, getting to build the pavilion with them. And the rest of the time I had for the day, I spent in the volcano. Since the pavilion is open on day 160, I collected many walnuts, also putting up this mineral in the hidden area, and finally being able to unlock Key's room. Even getting to see how much progress I made towards 100%ing the game, which is not that great. But the rest of the day was spent in the volcano, where I sadly passed out outside of. Went back to my farm on day 161, where someone was at my door. Lewis came to ask me if I wanted to expand my farm, and yeah, this looks like a lot of land that I'd like to take. so I'm definitely doing that soon. But I now have the Highlands open, so I decided to travel down there, meeting Lance, who tells us all about the area and how he wants to do a survey of the plant life, which is now something that I have to do. Yay. I know there's some fish here, so I make my way through the place with tons of mobs and try my best to fish what I can, but it's really not as easy as I thought, so I pass out in the Highlands mines. Day 162 was pretty quick with a Victor cutscene talking about his bridge apprenticeship plans, which is super exciting for him, and buying the deed for the land beside my house, which is not ready today, but that's fine because I do need to gift people, especially the lower heart people, using the rest of my time getting my greenhouse prepared for ancient fruit instead of starfruit. Picked up a little fishing quest on day 164, as well as upgraded my hoe. And now that I have all the fur wax I need, I bought myself a special coop to get more animals and chucked it next to my greenhouse that I also moved since it was so far away. Late at night, planting my fruit as well as seeds from the Highlands that Lance wanted me to assess, and then putting up more fir trees to hopefully get a special barn done quicker. Day 165, I got some really good books from the bookseller, worked on Willie's fishing quest, and then went to bed. Day 166 was also pretty chill, getting myself a key quest and finding a new spot in the forest. Yeah, there's a little sauna back here, and maybe in the future I can set up a warp. Wink wink. I gathered up my things on day 167, heading to the desert to fulfill my Skull Cavern invasion quest. Luckily, not doing too bad, and even completing one of my monster goals in the process, ending the night by getting a Sandy cutscene. Sunday, day 168, I stayed up gifting people, getting my hoe and upgrading my water bucket, finally getting to make that warp I talked about, and before heading to the island, picked up a fish I needed for the Master Angler achievement and headed over. I finished the tropical fish request, replanted my fruit, and headed all the way home, kinda abruptly ending my summer season. I start off the fall season by getting my farm ready for various amounts of crops that I would get, but I got a cutscene going into the town. The cutscene was Camilla being a nuisance and putting a new type of fish into the water, a catfish, if you will. Weirdly enough, after that, I got drunk with Pierre, told Claire she should join the ladies every Tuesday for exercise, and watch Sophia and Scarlett make wine. Finally, getting my crops, picking up a mastery, and heading to plant everything at home. I put tappers on my newly grown fir trees on day 170, collecting my watering can, then upgrading my hoe, and then getting a really weird request on the board. I decided it was time to head back to the Highlands for the fish I was missing, making it through the mine relatively unscathed, collecting the gemfish, but of course, dying in there right after. That did not stop me, however, as I ran right back, not to the mines though, a different, more hard to see section where I would fish up the diamond carp, and of course, pass out. Weirdly enough, passing out in the Highlands put me on Ginger Island. Okay. Going back to Pelican Town, however, I got a super cool cutscene of Kent deciding to join the guild, which I think is really cool for his character development. But my new coop is done, meaning I can get a goose to help along with my animal quest. And ended my day. Picking up my iridium hoe on day 172, I stopped by Willie's to get things to help me in my fish collection goal. First going to the swamp where I struggled a lot, but finally got the fish in the end. I'm not gonna lie, that made me want to kill myself. Yay! It's done! Trying to get the kitty fish, but it was too late in the day. Day 173, I got to donate to the Island Museum, gaining another walnut. Also having some new Highland crops done, just waiting for the last one to take to Lance. I ended my quick little day with a Olivia cutscene in the pub with a bunch of people. I finally got my little kitty fish on day 174, and also finally started on my grandpa's shed. planting some starfruit. After that, heading over to Ginger Island, getting a Lance cutscene. That was a little too tense for my liking. I am, in fact, married. And since it was an even-numbered day, I got to spend the night playing darts in a little pirate cavern to get some walnuts. I had many people to talk to on day 175, so I took myself around town, thankfully finishing the dwarf's hearts, and even getting a new warp to the secret Junimo area. I finished my night first with an apples cutscene, and then a Martin cutscene. I cannot handle the tension, bro. You have got to do something! This sucks. This is actually the worst thing I think I've ever experienced ever. Ah! Ew! Ah! How cute! What? Claire, I'll beat your ass. Don't do this to me. What an awful way to end the night. Ugh. Day 176, I got yoinked by Camilla and taken to my warp area, where I was then taken to the Crimson Badlands. That, yes, are very crimson. So now I gain a new warp, my last warp, and can now visit whenever I want. Like now. I visited now. Just to say hello to Lance before actually going to the Highlands and getting the last fish I needed in that area. I had some cranberries done on day 177, so I dealt with that and actually decided to head to the Badlands. Because yes, I have 2 fish I need to collect, but collecting them was a lot harder than I thought. Only collecting the undead fish before this happened. Bro, literally how? Literally how? That did not deter me, however, as I went right back in, collecting the bonefish and hightailing it out of there. I haven't really said it, but oh my god, this mod for me is so busted. The game crashes all of the time, which is not super fun. But what is actually fun is hanging out with apples. Psych, I accidentally said no. I did not mean to do that. Instead, I spent my time on Ginger Island with my crops and also got the extended family quest. Sadly, not being able to get any fish before I ended my day. But before I continued that on day 179, I finally had enough fur wax to get myself a premium barn. Now, I just have to wait a couple days for it. Of course, that gives me time to grab those extended legendaries like the Son of Crimson Fish, Miss Angler, Legend 2, Radioactive Carp, and the Glacier Fish, completing the whole thing. Going to Ginger Island on day 180, I completed the shrine area, getting some walnuts, and ultimately spent my time in the volcano looking for a certain ostrich note. Many things were done on day 181, like completing Marlin's weird bomb request, finding out that Abigail hangs out with apples, and now getting Leo in the town officially. Later in the day, collecting a spine for the museum, and getting more kegs for my little shed. Second cranberry harvest on day 182, and also the last monster crop that I needed for Lance. But when I went to take them, I got a cutscene with Marlin based off of the bombs that I collected for him. Apparently, they were great, and now I get decorations from them, I guess. Ending the day giving Lance those crops and gifting people. Day 183 was spent looking again for notes in the volcano, sadly not getting what I needed. Fun enough, day 184 was the Stardew Valley fair that I actually got everything I needed from last year, so instead I lost all of my shit betting my points away. Not even kidding, I was raging like crazy and just went to bed. My premium barn is finally done day 185, meaning I gained a bunch of new animals, like a goat named Calypso, camel named Fresca, sheep named Bargs, and more. soon. At the end of the day, collecting my last mastery, redoing my star fruit, and selling a crap ton of items. I worked pretty hard on my ancient fruit on day 186, and heading to Pierre's, I got a Claire cutscene, doing her workouts, and then heading to the pub together. The rest of the day, I actually got the skull I needed for the museum, upgraded my watering can, and used my newly obtained furniture catalog to decorate a bit of my house. After collecting some crops, I went and got a quest from Sophia that I actually worked on immediately before ending my day at the island, putting up that skull, and dealing with my now done starfruit. Day 188, I picked up a Junimo cart quest, very bad idea, dealing with my keg shed, but ultimately spending my day decorating. As it was a Sunday, I spent my time chatting with people, even getting a henchman cutscene, where we are now friends. I successfully completed Sophia's fairy quest, not realizing that it was the final day for Junimo Kart though, so I sadly decided to do that. I really thought it would be easy, since I've done it before. Taking in total 2 real-life hours, I finally managed to do it, but didn't even remember what my plans were for the rest of the day. Stardew Valley, of course, broke again on day 190, but Sophia was super happy with her flower garden, which is so nice. But ultimately, I picked up my watering can and just spent the rest of my time in the volcano. It was Tuesday, so I tried to talk to people, but Leo and Linus made that pretty hard. Still managing to talk to a bunch of people, and even got an apples cutscene where they decided to throw a little party. Day 192 was spent in the volcano, still looking for that stupid ostrich note, but completing a monster slayer goal. Annoyingly, continuing the same thing on day 193 with still no note. But I got luckier this time on day 194, getting the note and immediately getting the ostrich egg that I needed. But I completely forgot I needed an incubator that I can only get by completing the island museum. Ugh. But since I've done so much mining, I finally got to complete the stone request from Robin, hopefully getting myself a new bridge soon. Really glad I did that on day 195 because I'm sick of going all the way around just to get to my shed. But of course, I harvested and replanted my starfruit, filling up my kegs as well. Then taking myself over to the wizard's tower because I actually have enough to get an obelisk, though I surprisingly got a wizard cutscene. We talked about my impressive magical ability and that he'll be making dinner for us later at the night. But afterwards, I got my obelisk and spent the rest of the day at Spirit's Eve. Because yes, that was happening. And no, it really wasn't that fun. It is now the last day of fall, but it really wasn't that eventful. Just talking with people and getting this Lance cutscene because of the monster fruit I was able to get for him. I then replanted my crops on the island and put away a ton of things in the bin to get a really good amount of money in the morning. The first day of winter, day 197, started with realizing that Scarlet is no longer in the town, and I am so far from being able to be max hearts with her. I think maybe I'll be fine on the others though. I went and picked up a mine quest from Keys, completing a monster goal and ending at floor 17. Day 198 was a Tuesday, so I made sure to talk to everyone I needed to, pretty close on a couple of people. And before going to the mine again for the day, I went and donated some artifacts to the normal museum, only having 3 left, ending the day at floor 27. Wednesday, day 199, I got a request from Clint to give him 30 gold bars. Who does he think he is? I am not that rich. But sure, I guess I'll try. Obviously spending my time in the mine, even though it's taking longer than I thought, ending at floor 55. How? I only had 1 sheep. What? So yeah, Barks Jr. is on the farm, I guess. Both day 200 and 201 were spent in the mines, pretty close to finishing, but not having enough time. So of course I finished that early morning of day 202, then took a lot of my treasures to get assessed at Clint's. Because yes, to get one of my last star drops, I need to complete the normal museum. I just have a little bit left to get. Day 203 is when I actually thought, for once in my life. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought I kind of screwed myself over with Scarlet. Because I was like, oh no, I can't talk with her in the winter. Yes, I can. I just have to go to her house in a different city. So I'm gonna try my best to see if I can get her to max hearts, but we're a little low at the moment. I think I can get everybody else up. Everybody else is in fine condition. Like, surely they should be fine by the end of the year, but that's a long way to go. So I'm gonna probably end up using my star drops. I got a cutscene seeing Scarlet in her town for the first time, but after headed over to give her some gifts, spending the rest of my time gifting others, even getting my hearts up with Lance, meaning I have a new cutscene where he takes me to my last unlockable area, the Fable Reef, meeting all of his little guildmates and ending the day. Waking up day 204, Magnus told me I can get to the reef by using his Nexus. Thank you very much. Afterwards, quickly dealing with my star fruit, ignoring the ice festival, getting a little board request, and going to the reef to get some of my last remaining fish. Why was that so easy? Oh, that makes me mad. That was the easiest catch of my life. Are we joking? Ending the night with a cutscene of the henchman visiting me to tell me to go see him in the morning. So I did, where he showed me this new path by his house with a couple of shrines. Shrines that I, in fact, do not need to use, so I'm off to do other things. Like visit Scarlet, who was working on a cosplay, and going to the island. I really need that last snake tail to be done with this island museum, so I'm trying my best, but sadly not getting it. I did get a new quest from Keys though, and bought some more items. You know how I said I still had some animals left to get? Well, one of them was obviously the ostrich, but also I have to get a bear. Yeah, I can now get a bear on my farm. And I named him Crush. How cute. I again tried for that stupid snake vertebrae, not getting it, but being able to get the torpedo trout from the reef and the legendary I needed from there, now officially only have one fish left to get. I got really lucky with some geode openings, meaning I just have one artifact left and a couple more minerals. Continuing with that luck, completing a bunch more things, like getting the vertebrae I needed for the island museum, collecting the ostrich incubator, giving Clint those 30 gold bars, giving Gunther 100 bones, and ending the day. Clint came to my farm on day 208 to tell me he's clearing a path with the gold bars, I guess. I had my first ancient fruit harvest, working on a key quest, but never actually finishing it, so oh well. Day 209, I checked out the clearing, now getting a sauna. I also checked out the desert to try and get my remaining artifact, but of course not getting it. And wasting the rest of my time again in the mines. But that mining was pretty useful on day 210 because I got more geodes to go through. Officially completing all of the minerals needed for the museum, just having that one stupid artifact left. But it's fine, because I got to gift a bunch of people today, upping the heart counts, and going to Fable Reef to try and get that last fish. I struggled a lot, but I did it, earning my Master Angler achievement. Waking up day 211 to getting my fishing star drop. I think that deserves a sub. Or whatever, you do you. Even though it was a Monday, I was really excited, so I was gifting a bunch of people, even getting a cutscene of Scarlet and one of her dads fighting each other. Oh boy. But now only being one heart away from maxing her out. I still had no luck with that desert artifact. Instead, I took this quest for Emily to give her some rocks, thinking I didn't have an emerald, but no, I'm just stupid. Ending my day actually getting an infinity blade. I am rich enough day 212 to get myself another obelisk, gaining the 2 out of 4, messing around with the colors on my farm, and finally not being stupid and giving Emily the emerald that she wanted. I did my usual rounds day 213 in my shed with the star fruit, getting a new fish pond, and spending the rest of the day looking for that stupid artifact. Of course, no luck with it either on day 214, but I did have starfruit done on the island, as well as finding out I actually just have 1 golden walnut left. My ancient fruit is also done, as well as my fish pond, so I threw the legend 2 in there and started up on another one. But obviously, what do you think I did for the rest of my day? Yeah, struggled. I worked on my farm a bit day 216 to make things a little bit easier to navigate, as well as collecting my starfruit wine, entering a new fish on day 217. Now all of my ponds are legendaries, but it was a Sunday and I only have 1 heart left with Scarlet, Henchman, and Apples, so I obviously hung out with all 3 of them, leveling up Apples and the Henchman, finding out he actually has his old job back, but still just having 1 heart left with Scarlet. Ending the day, obviously, not getting the artifact. Or on day 218. So instead, I actually spent my time working on monster goals because I was super close on a bunch of them. This was the day I was waiting for, however, as early morning, I managed to get that stupid palm fossil. Officially completing the museum. Thank you, subscribers. You really did this for me. And honestly, just chilled out for the rest of the day on Ginger Island. I woke up morning of 220 to Gunther telling me they're gonna have a showing at the museum and that I should definitely come. So I did. Look at all the hard work I put into this place. Only up from there, cause today I also got max hearts with Scarlet, meaning I have max hearts with everyone and officially completed all of my goals for the challenge. So I ended my day chilling on the farm. It is Christmas day 221, giving Robin lasagna for her present, and in return getting a tea set from Pierre. I've still got some monster goals to do, so I went to the volcano for that, hoping to get my last walnut as well, which I indeed did, and finish the magma sprites goal. But going to Keys on day 223, I was a little confused. I have max hearts with everyone, yet I'm at 97%. Okay, I'm definitely missing something. I upgraded my shed to house more kegs that I would like to get, and to help more with that, I actually decided to use the community garden. Yep, the garden I thought I wouldn't use is now a tree farm. Honestly, pretty good idea in my opinion. But now it is the last day of the year where I had some things to do on the island, but ultimately had nothing else to do but collect all of the products that I had been saving on my farm to sell, which was a lot, going to bed with over 1 million gold to my name. This isn't the end though. I still have another 100 days to get perfection, and obviously that money will help. But what will also help is subscribing to the channel. I love making these videos and I still have many more planned. So I hope I'll see you again for the next upload. I have played over 200 days of Stardew Valley Expanded, and now it's time to reach perfection. With things like shipping produce, cooking every recipe, and finding out who I haven't befriended yet, I still have a lot to get done. But of course, it was not gonna be easy. So if you like this series, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, and let's begin. The start of spring year 3, my grandfather came down to evaluate my farm. And yeah, having your shrine behind a waterfall kinda sucks, because I could barely tell that I got all 4 candles lit, earning me the Statue of Perfection. I got my farm started and took myself to Pierre's to get parsnips. Don't really know why I got those, not gonna lie. After that, my goal for the day was to collect every recipe from any shop in the game. Cooking all the foods and crafting all items is needed for perfection, so I needed to get a bunch of the ones that I didn't have. In the middle of my journey, however, I got an apples cutscene where I met a new little Junimo. Peaches! Peaches? Who's Peaches? I'm so lost. That was not the end of the story, as taking myself to Cindersnap Forest, I got an ominous message. Of course, I raced to Junimo Woods, where Apples met up with a bunch of other Junimo friends, and he took them all to his little house. There's a bear. Okay, that wasn't... I looked away for like 2 seconds and did not expect to see a bear. At the end of their party and my day, getting myself a starfruit bonus. Day 226, I was greeted by Sophia at my front door, telling me to come to her place at noon to go on a little trip with her and Scarlett. So I quickly did some chores before heading over, where we drove in Scarlett's dad's truck all the way to this pretty lighthouse where we got food and went home. At the end of the day, I went to the volcano to search for dragon teeth, luckily getting one, so I could finally get the island obelisk, making it much easier to get to Ginger Island when I needed to. Also, rearranging my farm while I was at the Wizard's Tower. Talking to Magnus day 227, he mentioned an unfamiliar name, Morgan, but considering that they're his pupil, most likely this is the last person I needed to befriend for completion. Not only that, but Apples came to visit the farm and asked if I wanted to restore Aurora Vineyard. I did a bunch of searching, and honestly, I regret it, but I did have it refurbished. I don't know what I'm even gonna do with that land, so that was really dumb. But it's pretty cute, so... The rest of the day was pretty chill though, just crafting recipes and collecting wood. Day 228 was also pretty chill, as I accidentally harvested some starfruit on Ginger Island and put tappers on my now done oak trees, even sticking some on my trees at the quarry. I had the bright idea to move my pigs over to the other barn, so the morning of day 229, I did just that, fixing up the area a little bit, but ultimately it just makes it easier to collect the truffles. I did get the key bean quest, so you'll see me collect a bunch of those, but just ignore it. I didn't even try to do the quest properly. At the end of the day, I redid my keg shed and went to the mines to continue working on my monster goals. Day 230, I did a lot of chores and spent the rest of my time in the mines defeating dust sprites, as I am decently close. I got up to relatively the same thing day 231, but I had a bunch more crops done, and it wasn't until 1 a.m. that I realized I never went to go see Morgan, so I took myself over, as it surprisingly wasn't too late. This is Morgan, Magnus's new pupil, and will be staying at his place while they learn magic. And of course, I now have to get their hearts up. After this, quickly going and sleeping in Magnus's room for the night. I officially met them next morning, giving them a void egg, which apparently Morgan likes, and of course, went to the mines, where I actually finished my skeleton goal and dust sprite goal, leaving with just dinosaurs left. Tuesday, day 233, I got a quest from Evelyn, cause I am stupid. I needed to do the cave patrol quest, but I didn't know at the time. Actually, just using the rest of my day to get started on a bunch of cooking, leading me to do the same thing on day 234 because I already have a bunch of things needed already. A lot of my oak resin is done day 235, giving me many more kegs. And later in the day, I forgot a couple of cooking and crafting recipes down at Krobus's, but when I went to see him, I got an interesting cutscene. Who is Nyx? He keeps talking about wanting peace, but like, when were we even fighting? And to help mend our apparently bad relationship, I have to get him 60 void souls. I need those. You can only get them in the Badlands, and that's already hard enough as it is. So I went to bed thinking about it. We'll see if I even do it. I started day 236 off with a Morgan cutscene where they did a little Magnus impression. How cute. And then finally got myself my last obelisk, the one to the Calico Desert. After that, I went and changed my starfruit wine to now ancient fruit, as I'll keep starfruit wine in Grandpa's shed, getting to harvest some on the island, and sadly, spending the rest of my day in the Badlands, searching far and wide for those stupid void souls. I didn't want to go to the egg festival, but I do want strawberries. So I took myself to the town square and spent literally all of my money. Forgot I didn't have any because of the obelisk I bought yesterday. And of course, while I was there, I had to do the egg hunt, even using a guide to make sure I win. But, no, I lost. So I pitifully planted my strawberries, not even having enough, harvested my ancient fruit, and just went to bed because... what? I did a bunch of small things day 38, like gifting Morgan, finally getting these berries I needed for my shipping goal, getting some fish I needed for my cooking, and spending what little time I had left at the end of the day making those recipes. Gifting Morgan is going great because I received my second to last recipe, only having one left I need to find, so I quickly made that one, and spent the rest of the day getting materials to make even more. Day 240, I gifted Morgan, collected another fish for cooking, and picked up a key quest. The worst key quest. When have I ever been lucky enough for this? So I prepared and made my way to Calico Desert, forgetting that it's actually the Desert Festival, and there was no way I would even be able to get the prismatic shard during this event, and I was right. That didn't stop me day 241 from doing the same dang thing, but I didn't mind too much since it gave me a chance to kill dinosaurs while I was there. It was a very good luck day 242, so before I went, I got myself more kegs from my newly done oak resin and headed over to the desert. I ate a pretty lucky dish and could definitely tell I was lucky, literally getting an auto petter, dinosaur, and a prismatic shard. But I couldn't get down very far. Luck was not on my side day 243, so I redid my ancient fruit wine, sold all of my artisan goods, and sadly went to the Badlands to search for those void souls, ending the night with a pretty high paycheck. Morning of day 244, Lewis told me about a winery I could buy from Robin, but apparently it's pricey, and I can't afford to spend the money at the moment. I need 10 million gold, so no. I collected some of my done crops and went to go get starfruit seeds, but Sandy wasn't even there. Instead, taking myself to the casino because I need the last viable rare crow. How would I do this? Winning all of my games. Not only buying the rare crow, but a statue of treasure as well. Going home to get a cutscene of Morgan playing hide and seek with the other kids in town, where I had to let them win a game. I felt bad. They were really obvious. This is also the cutscene where the kids find out that Morgan is indeed not a boy or a girl, and they kinda understand it. It was a dang good luck day, so I picked up some staircases and took myself right into the cavern. I chose a new but still pretty beefy food item and got so many good holes off rip. It was literally 1 p.m. and I was already down 40 floors. Getting my first prismatic shard from a chest. Honestly, didn't know that that counted. The second one from breaking some rocks. And after making it past floor 100, I got my third and final prismatic shard, heading straight to keys, picking myself up 2 recipes, and heading to bed successful. It is indeed Community Day, and I forgot that means Sandy won't be at the shop again. So another day goes by where I cannot get starfruit seeds. Instead, I did a bunch of little chores like tapping some trees in my community garden, struggling to get the void souls from the Badlands, and picking up a quest from the board. Sadly, I need both of these, but I went with the community cleanup as it was the easiest one to do, just fishing in the mines at floor 100. It took 2 days, but I finished that quest on day 247, finally managing to get myself a crap ton of starfruit seeds, getting to plant those on both my farms, and picking up yet another Danger in the Deep quest. I feel like I've done it 50,000 times at this point, but it does give me the most gems, so I really just gotta take it. Going to bed hearing a very strange noise. A noise I was not about to deal with. Yep, I picked up that capsule and deleted it. No alien on my farm, thank you very much. It was actually the Flower Dance Festival, but I was not planning to go. So I instead picked up some freshly done strawberries and headed to the mines, ending the day at floor 50. More resin was done on day 249, earning me an almost full keg shed. Taking myself to the mines for a bit before forgetting I should probably talk to Morgan, since I do have a friendship perk for the day. Going back to the mines, ending at floor 76, and redoing my ancient fruit wine that were actually done for the day. Day 250 was in the mines, ending at floor 110, so of course I was able to quickly finish that day 251, using my key gems to get even more recipes. Just having 2 left. I did some tiny things for the rest of the day, like harvesting ancient fruit, picking up resin, and making my last needed scarecrow, completing the entire Rare Crow collection. It is finally the last day of spring, which also means my last strawberry harvest. Sadly though, not the last time I have to visit the Crimson Badlands. I hate this place and almost keep dying, literally only collecting 7 souls, though I did get to make more kegs, officially finishing my first keg shed, now getting to start on my grandpa's shed. But before the day ended, I went and fished for a bit, hoping for a frog, and eventually got one super late at night, putting a close to the spring season. Start of the summer season, day 253, I did the usual, like getting my farm ready and heading to Pierre's for some crops. Somehow managing to get the amount I needed on the first try. And on my way to fish, I got a Morgan cutscene where they were wrongfully showing their magic to other kids. But not gonna lie, I don't really get the point of this cutscene too much, so if anyone wants to explain it to me, please. Of course, I gifted Morgan a lovely void egg and took myself fishing. In the town, actually grabbing myself the prismatic jelly task, another quest I needed for a crafting recipe, and ended my night picking up another quest, the extended family, actually passing out on the beach while trying. I had to take a quick stop at the sauna, day 254, because, you know, passed out last night. But of course, going to get myself started on those legendaries, grabbing the Son of Crimson Fish and Miss Angler pretty quickly, but taking a while on the legend too. Luckily, I managed to grab the radioactive carp and Glacier Fish Jr. super easily though, and ended my day there. Since I got a friendship perk, I obviously went and saw Morgan. Crazy enough, already being at 7 hearts. What? Getting myself another cutscene where Morgan talks about how lonely they are, studying in this secluded tower, and I don't really know if I'm the person to go to for comfort. It seems like they already know who they want. Afterwards, annoyingly taking myself to the Badlands, but doing really well not getting injured, and even collecting 9 souls. Of course, I still have a quest to do, so I flip between different floors at random, finding the little prismatic slime on floor 65, but not even being able to give my husband the jelly, cause I don't know where he is. Day 256 started with handing over the prismatic jelly, then turned into a big big maintenance day. Being able to get more kegs with my resin and having starfruit and my ancient wine done, I was pretty busy. Also collecting my second to last recipe needed from Key, since I kind of forgot I had gems from the fish. Also deciding today would be the day I grabbed every artisan good on my farm to sell and see how much I could profit from it. And it's a lot. Literally getting the legend achievement from it and being 30% of the way to getting myself the golden clock. I of course got myself a recipe from the Wizard's Quest, went and got some souls from the Badlands, and tried to get some dragon teeth, but alas, got absolutely none. Because I got so much money yesterday, he got me a little piggy bank. It steals my money. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I spent the entire day on the beach trying to get a sea jelly just to make a fish smoker, and I didn't even get it. I was really determined though. Day 259, I went to the volcano again since it was a good luck day, but again, got let down for the third day in a row. Of course, that also happened day 260, but I did collect a lot of void souls from the Badlands and even picked up this key hungry challenge that we're gonna wait a bit to do because I need staircases and you can only get those on Sunday. Tuesday, day 261, was an actual good luck day as I got 2 8 hearts with Morgan, a good amount of void souls, but most importantly, in my second and third volcano floor, I got dragon teeth, only needing 1 more for my recipes. Going to bed, I guess I gained a new little pig. Day 262 was actually pretty chill, with me doing a bunch of crafting. Finally, getting that stupid sea jelly, redoing my kegs, and getting a Morgan cutscene. The idea was that Morgan needed to transmute this iron to gold, and kinda struggled with it, and surprisingly to my husband, yeah, I can do that. He's definitely shocked about it though. Luckily, in the end, Morgan was able to do it. Day 263 was the luau day, but I had a ton of resin to pick up, which is a little sad since I just redid my kegs, but oh well. Friday, day 264 was pretty chill, getting nothing in the volcano, except for iron. Yeah, I'm really gonna need a lot of that if I'm gonna make more kegs. Speaking of iron, the anvil cost 50 iron bars. So because I have a bunch of money, I decided to get myself some iron ore from Clint. Yep, I just bought it, taking some of that new iron to make some kegs, and then replanted all of my starfruit on the island and in the shed. We got some blueberries done on day 266, but most importantly, it is Sunday, the day I get staircases from the desert trader, and the last day I can do the key quest. So we gotta get to it. Even though I tried to get good luck, I kept getting ladders only. But since I didn't use any of my staircases for a while, once I hit floor 80-ish, and honestly was getting my ass kicked, I spammed those staircases, making my way through to the very end. And since I had time at the end of the night, just doing some things around the farm. Kind of forgot about the green rain since it came so late, but instead of chopping trees like I usually do, I actually picked up a quest from Willie, since this quest gives me the quality bobber recipe I need, which is how I ended my day, fighting bugs in the mines. In the morning, I went to gift Morgan since it was a Tuesday and actually maxed out our hearts. That did not take long at all. What? And to celebrate, I went to finish that bug quest in the mines. Later in the day, taking all the guts and putting them in a bin for Willie. But that is not all I did today, as I still needed key gems for a recipe, so I went and got myself the Junimo cart quest. Yep. I'll try the key beans at a different time, but I guess I really have the experience for this game now because it only took me 4 tries and I completely got it, managing to get that last crafting recipe directly from Key. Day 269, I did some farm things like redoing my kegs, making more machines, and selling a lot of my valuables. I woke up crazy rich day 270 and rich in friendship because Morgan asked me to come see their test in the woods since they wanted a little moral support. And in the cutscene I got, we find out that Morgan is really good with summoning animals, and even they were pretty shocked by it. But luckily, they passed, ending a successful cutscene and gaining me higher quality goods. Thanks, Morgan. The rest of my day was actually really silly though, because the day before, I noticed my cat was sleeping in the upstairs room, and it was so cute. And I spent the entire day decorating it for Fanta. Look at how cute! Of course, doing the other room as well. Day 271, I cut down a bunch of trees because I had made many kegs, making me very poor in wood now. Day 272 wasn't too interesting either, as I had some ancient fruit done and decided to go to the Badlands to try and get some of my missing shipment items, cause I'm still missing a few. Sadly though, not being too successful, but I know why. I got some starfruit seeds because I'm not going to do the same thing I did last community day, but then went back to the Badlands. See, this little area I need to get past so I can get to a secret area, but I'm really bad and look really pathetic. That did not stop me though, because once I picked up my blueberries and got myself some potions, I went back in. This time, I really wanted to focus on killing as many mobs as possible so I could get to the section easier. And it definitely worked, but oh my god, there's even more guys. Luckily, I got a bunch of bombs and made my way into this room. I don't know who's talking to me, but they seem impressed, and they definitely should be. So I stole all their things and actually passed out outside because I was not paying attention to the time. I was scared day 275 because Key just showed up at my door. Don't break the fourth wall with me. Stop. But the day was definitely chill compared to yesterday, getting myself a trash can upgrade, replanting all of my starfruit, and redoing my little keg sheds. Throughout my Badlands journey, I have gained enough souls to give to Krobus. That was kind of the end of that, I guess. In town though, I did grab myself another quest that I really needed and went to the mines to get that done. Surprisingly, slaying enough grubs to do it, earning me some sick cash. And of course, a recipe on day 277. That wasn't all I got today, as I was able to pick up a whole load of oak resin and made my way to the volcano to pick up the last dragon tooth I needed for that crafting. But when I arrived home, I actually got a Krobus cutscene telling me to go meet him in the mines. But I can't exactly do that at the moment. Day 278 was a huge crafting day since I apparently can't go to the mines to get that cutscene on a Friday, whatever that means. But I got almost everything done. Also doing a lot of cooking too, since I kind of forgot about that. Day 279, I finally go get that Nyx cutscene where a bunch of void souls were being taken back to their loved ones. And in return, I won't get attacked by them anymore. The later half of my day, I got some gold and wood since after crafting all of those recipes, I am poor again. It is now the last day of summer. However, I want to get prepared, so I spent most of my time messing with my farm, since I know the layout isn't great, and decided not to go to the Moonlight Jellies, instead selling a bunch of goods to set myself up for fall year 3. I got to work getting my farm prepared again. This time, I was going to do a whole thing of cranberries so I could use some dehydrators. Luckily for me though, in town, I was able to grab the request I needed for my last crafting recipe. Thank God. But wouldn't you know it, planning stuff took forever. Even the little pineapples that I needed. Because sadly, she didn't ask for taro root. ending the night redoing my ancient fruit. Continuing my kegs day 282, finishing up my star fruit, and even getting myself some more preserve jars. Day 283 was when I actually did things, like taking myself to the Highlands, because I still have a long way to go on my shipment, and I was unaware I had a quest that I didn't start in the game, like freeing this little caged dwarf. He told me about a monster on the peak of the Highlands mountain, and now it is my job to defeat it. Today wouldn't be that day, but I did collect things to help me out. Day 284, I did have to get some things done quickly, like my oak resin and grabbing some iron from Clint. Then I took myself to the Highlands. I apparently was not supposed to touch the dino I needed to defeat, so I had my new slingshot help me out. It's kind of sad, you can't even see him, but I didn't get hit, so he is now defeated, allowing me to now free the dwarf and end my day. Day 285 was a very chill starfruit maintenance day. Day 286, on the other hand, I had to do some fishing. I quickly grabbed myself a sea cucumber and salmon so I could make some more food, and I was gonna make more, but I did get a cutscene from my new dwarf friend, who has now set up shop in the Highlands, but it's just decorations. At the end of my night, collecting hazelnut to make 2 more recipes. I woke up the morning of day 287 to Marlin at my door, requesting me to come to the guild at night for a meeting. So in the meantime, I did a bunch of maintenance, getting more kegs for the island even, and then heading over. Thankfully, this is the cutscene I was waiting for, because he told us about 3 new bosses to defeat. 1 in the Badlands, 1 in the swamp, and 1 in the Highlands. And I had to now defeat all of them. Twice. Yep, I need their loot for shipment, but Marlin also wants their loot, so I have to do it twice. Day 288, I had cranberries done, which is definitely a lot. Then went to start on my first boss. Little did I know that they are very difficult to find. I spent the entire day at the swamp, yet never found the boss. What I did find out, however, was that these big ghosts counted for dinosaurs. So I officially completed my monster goals without even meaning to. What? Day 289, I redid my kegs, then went back to the swamp, being unsuccessful again, literally redoing the day, and still not being able to find it. So I changed tactics day 290 and went to the Highlands instead, checking the bottom floor before I eventually found it in the mountain, defeating it and getting my first needed loot for this quest. I tried to go to the Badlands to try there, but realized it was very hard. Instead, to help myself, I went and got the slime charmer ring, so I would never have to deal with slimes again. Yes, I know I am very late. Day 291 was unsuccessful again, but this time in the Badlands, literally only getting oak resin a day. I don't even want to talk about day 292, as you can just look at it. Still, haven't come in contact with the boss. Day 293 was also the exact same way, yet I just quit and went to a different boss, actually being able to find this one, beating it with ease, and surprisingly deciding to go back to the Badlands. But thank God I did, because I actually found the scorpion. Of course, I had to deal with literally every other mob besides the slimes trying to kill me, but I eventually killed it, meaning I have killed all the bosses I need for Marlin, but I still gotta defeat him again. At the end of the day, I went and collected my pineapples, trying to get started on replanting them, but it was a little late. So I continued the morning of day 294, afterwards dealing with all of my little star fruit and going to bed. I went back to the Highlands since that seems to be the easiest boss to find, but even though these slimes can't hurt me, oh my god, they are so annoying. With the little time I had left, I did try to go to the swamp, but definitely didn't find the boss. Thankfully, we get a little break on day 296 because it is the Stardew Valley Fair. I quickly picked up some wine and got materials to put in my bin, thinking that this would be pretty good. I mean, Look at it. I needed to spend time getting points for my last needed cooking recipe. Obviously, I just did the fishing game. It's the easiest one. And I thought I would get an extra 1,000 points from getting first place in the fair, but no, I got second. Pierre getting first. I literally hate that guy. But still, I was able to get that recipe and ended my night dealing with my starfruit kegs. Morning of day 297, I started to get real mad that I have still not gotten a golden goose egg for full shipment. So I decided I needed to get more geese. Yeah, they have dumb names, but hopefully getting more will up my chances. In the meantime, I went to the swamp again, finding the boss rather quickly and leaving it to spend time in the Badlands. Horrible idea. Bro, 3 times I died, so no more of that. In the meantime, I sold the loot I had double of and went to bed. Speaking of shipment, day 298, I went and got loot I was missing from the Highlands. But because it was a good luck day, I took myself to the Badlands, having to deal with a bunch of mobs, but of course, not the mob I needed. Quietly ending my day. Sadly, it continued day 299, but this time I found the scorpion, finally getting to sell it for shipment, ending my day chopping trees in the woods. I got greeted at my door day 300 for completing the quest and went to pick up my reward, which was pretty good. I'm just not gonna use it. I went and picked up my pineapples, only having 9 days left, so it's a little scary. For the remainder of my day, I actually made more dehydrators since I have many fruit to put in them, and took them to the vineyard, upgraded my watering can, and ended there. Day 301, I got mad because I genuinely don't know what this is, and I need it shipped, but it was actually just bug guts, so... And thankfully, was also able to ship raisins and the tea leaves, just not that stupid golden egg. So to help myself out, apparently the raccoons can help you out once you do a couple of quests. And since I haven't done any, got started on that. Luckily, getting the fish I needed. Day 302, I just dealt with my ancient fruit kegs, and it was very similar on day 303, but it was my starfruit wine and crops done. Also getting my newly upgraded watering can. Ending my day collecting some cranberries. Still no golden goose egg, but I did get all the periwinkle needed for the raccoon. Just gotta wait for another quest now. I added more kegs to my island farm and went to look at my perfection progress, obviously being so close. In the meantime, I picked up another quest day 305, getting to donate some hardwood and cut down some hardwood. Getting close to completing it on day 306, using most of the day though to clean up my farm, even finding this little cave that no one told me about. How was I supposed to know that this was there? What? Second to last day of fall, I had a bunch of pineapples done, but because it doesn't update shipping in real time, I got a little scared of donating all of them. Though I was not scared of donating all of my artisan goods. At the end of the day, completing the hardwood quest and making over 5 million gold when I went to sleep. The last day of fall, I got some of my crops done, being the last cranberry harvest of the season, even taking them over to the vineyard, and of course, helping out my perfection goal by officially getting the golden clock. Maybe now that I have this, the geese will be more likely to give me that stupid egg. I woke up the first day of winter to get rewarded for finishing the island ingredients quest, getting my last crafting recipe, making it immediately to get the craft master achievement. But that's not all I can get done, as now that it's winter, I can grab myself the winter star rose and some berries to finish up my cooking, getting the gourmet chef achievement. Of course, now that means the last thing I have left is the golden goose egg, which is where we're gonna change up the video a bit. Other than trying to get myself even more geese to help my chances, I continued on every day doing my dailies and hoping that I'd either get the egg or another quest to do from the raccoon. Ending day 310 by decorating an unused section on my farm. I got a little well to go in that spot day 311, even having more time to make it prettier, but kind of forgot I should definitely try to get Pam's house upgraded. Day 313, I finally got another raccoon quest, but annoyingly I couldn't cheat the system, so I had to plant myself some powder melons and wait for them to be done to continue. Luckily, the well didn't take too long to make, so I was able to give Robin the materials she needed for Pam's new house, but it'll take a little bit for that one to get done. Many days have passed, now being day 317, where Pam's new house is done. Robin gave me the option to tell her that it was me, but I decided to be anonymous about it. I felt a little shy, but luckily, they both really like it. I just don't know why it's a shock to them. Like, did you not know a house was being built over your camper? Day 318, I was able to get the powder melon I needed to dehydrate using fairy dust to get it done. Of course, still having to wait for more quests because I haven't gotten the egg yet. Day 323, I sold many of the items I had been producing in the background, getting a ton of cash. And with that cash, I went and got myself a return scepter from Krobus, allowing me to instantly teleport to my farm. Easiest raccoon quest of my life, day 325, getting him the mushroom and algae needed, but only getting this cute little hat in return. Literally 7 days later, I got my next quest, and I kind of fubbed it up a little. So I had to get myself another wild horseradish to make into juice, but when giving it to the raccoon, just getting myself fairy dust in return. Yeah, even though it was Christmas, I kind of just wallowed in self-pity. But I did go, giving Pam her favorite dish to eat, but from my Secret Santa, getting a jade. Thanks, Mario. It's a little frustrating, but yeah, I made it to the last day of the year without getting the egg. 3 years? Technically 2, and I couldn't get a single golden goose egg. Ugh. That's so irritating. But since my 3rd year's up, my goal was now to just sleep until I got a raccoon quest or the egg. No way! I hit my knee because it startled me. 2? This is how it ends. Oh my god! Took 50 years. It's done. Yes! Obviously going to bed as soon as possible to wake up to completion. Yay! So now if I go to keys, it should say I'm 100% on everything. Yay! Is anything special gonna happen in the morning? I mean, the summit's already open, so... Aw, yay! Legacy of Dr. Pepper Farm is eternal. Yes! Oh, it does want me to come to the summit. Huh, interesting. Going there, I, of course, met with my husband who stood with me to talk about our time together. Expecting him to say that. I love that they toy with the little Carolines. But the time on the summit ends with an overview of all the characters, and surprisingly, my grandpa and Key telling me how proud they are. Look at my pops, he's got a little thumbs up. Officially now completing my entire Stardew Valley expanded series. I deserve a nice penny, like one of those ones you'd find on the side of the road, or maybe a comment from y'all whenever you scroll down and hit the like and subscribe button. Wink wink. But thank you so much for joining in on the series. Obviously, I will continue to post more and more and stream on my Twitch, so I hope to see you then.